Hey everybody, this is Scott Kearney, the CEO and founder of PositiveEarth.com. We are essentially looking to connect sustainable startups with the resources necessary to scale. So, Ross and Cara, welcome to Positive Earth Be Different interview. I am really excited about this and hosting you guys today. You are the founders of Cirrus and can be found at cirrus.earth. Tell us a bit more about your business and how it got started.
Cirrus, I think, in basic terms, is what we do is infuse the air with functional plant compounds. That's the kind of short answer. But I think one way into what we do is looking at the lungs as an interface between our environments and our bodies, and as a portal for entry in which we can deliver functional plant compounds and their associated benefits. We use the air as a delivery vehicle. So that's Cirrus. We're niched in the health and wellness space, investigating the application of functional botanicals using aerosol delivery.
What you guys are doing is obviously quite topical at the moment with COVID being around. How does your product speak into this challenge that we're facing currently?
So, when we looked around, there's this compulsion to go around sanitizing our hands, and that's all good and well, but if over 90% of the transmissions are occurring via aerosol particles, we also need to be looking at that 90%. So that's where Cirrus and Cirrus-like solutions could maybe come into play. So we've been working with a particular plant compound that's designed locally in Paarl, and we've been incorporating it into aerosol application. And the plant compound is very particular in that it's an advanced microbial regulator. So it's very good at inhibiting certain pathogens like mold and coronavirus, and we have the test results to confirm that. It's also very good at encouraging beneficial microbes. So it's this kind of interesting shift in perspective. It's not just about obliterating all microbes, but actually being more nuanced about how we regulate microbial environments.
Ross, that sounds amazing and sounds very legit, which I think is very cool. But for the layman like me, what does it mean in my everyday environment? What is that benefit that I'm gaining from it?
Yeah, we see it as a way to optimize our environments, especially like we live in these urban blocks. Most of us, if we live in cities, and there's a kind of disconnection there from nature and human and our urban environment. So we want to bring back nature a bit. There are plenty of solutions abound in nature if only we look more carefully at them. There's decades of research to suggest that functional plant compounds have positive effects on our immune systems, on our health in general. And so, for people lacking maybe a varied diet of organic veggies, aerosol plant compounds may provide that extra boost, extra supply of phytocompounds that can just help our bodies regulate themselves a bit better.
I like what you said. We can kind of control our environment, which is quite interesting, especially when we enclose spaces. And so this really focuses on bringing that outside in and the naturalness of where we're living, I guess. But there's also a big kind of opportunity here in this co-working and in work environments where remote work has become the norm right now. But I think that although it might not be the popular choice right now, but people are even requesting to go back to more sociable work environments because they're missing the interaction with their co-workers. And even in some cases, the employers are now requesting people to come back. So how does your products play in that space? Tell us a bit more about the product itself, the Atmos, and give us a bit of an idea of the application areas for that.
Yeah, so our focus is definitely on the functional plant compounds. We like to think of it as functionality first. So it's not just adding aromatic molecules to the air. We're adding very specific plant compounds that I've observed to have some functionality. The devices we use can consist in any diffuser or aerosol, kind of nanoparticle aerosol sprayer. And so we've come out with the first modern diffuser called Atmos, and you can find that on our website. So it's the combination of both that gives us what Cirrus is.
So it's not only a unique kind of compound that you guys have developed, but it's also how that's distributed. And both of those things, I think, is quite unique to the market of how that's entering that. And in the workspaces, especially, I think where you have people from different environments entering a single kind of space, how effective is this? Talk us through that process.
Yeah, so just to remark on what you said about people wanting to engage socially again. I mean, that's also an integral part of human health and well-being, right? We're social creatures,
Absolutely.
so enabling that is essential, I think, and that's something Cirrus can help with. If we are inhibiting pathogens in the air and providing immune regulating compounds, in the context of COVID, it's just it's not the end-all solution. Vaccination works.
Sanitization works.
Still need to sanitize. It's just, one part of an integrated solution. We have to observe our environments as living environments.
Cara, I think you mentioned before that it's not a single like, hey, this is a replacement for anything else. It's more a holistic approach to combating COVID, right? And
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because this works in inhibiting corona type viruses and coronavirus, it's important for Cirrus to not say this is the solution, but to let people know that, during COVID, post-COVID, this is something that they can use in their homes and in their workspaces and in the taxis they take or wherever they go. They can use it as a device to enhance their own way of life.
What you mentioned now is a mini bus taxi. I mean, that's such an alternative view of this to say, well, any enclosed space can be benefited by this device. So wherever you feel that there could be high risk areas, I guess restaurants is a good example, public transport is a good example, hospitals, hotels. So you've actually got a very wide audience. Where are you guys currently in targeting those audiences and where are you guys going? What's your focus at the moment?
So we've focused primarily at stage one in getting a viable product into the market, something you can purchase online and in retail stores. And we'll be looking next at, can we service businesses and corporate spaces and public transportation systems? So like you said, any enclosed space. I mean, no one's looking at the minibus taxis, and there's an argument to be made that that's really, there's a high rate of transmission occurring for COVID in minibus taxis. I think Groundup did a recent experiment where they measured CO2 when they took some taxi rides as a proxy for, how much is the air flowing throughout the bus. And it's alarming, So yeah, if solutions like Cirrus can alleviate transmissions in public transport, then by all means we're gonna go there.
It makes me feel a little bit hopeful towards the returning to the old normal, which we seem to have forgotten, which is getting to transport, go to work, and work in an office environment and feel safe again. I think.
Yeah, the safety part is important. Like actually feeling like your environment is safe to breathe, and I think COVID has made us all quite aware of the air that we breathe. Now can have a bit of agency over that.
Love that.
Just to touch on the workplace environment a bit more, or the workplace solution that Cirrus is going to be offering. If we can increase employee health over a long term by infusing the air with functional plant compounds that have immune supporting properties and that simultaneously inhibit pathogens that cause most of our illness. Actually, if you think about, what causes most staff absenteeism, it's likely the seasonal flu, it's gastro issues, and now it's COVID is a big one. So, if you can reduce employee absenteeism by just a few percent, you'll be saving businesses a large amounts of money, and also contributing, I think more importantly, to the health of the staff and the health and well-being of the employees.
I think that the additional benefits that comes automatically with removing the fear of COVID, and then also, really creating the environments for people where they can thrive and not get ill is phenomenal. How does this speak to other applications of COVID? What makes you guys so unique?
I think just the lungs, the idea of the lungs as a portal into the body is something that we need to take seriously. The lungs, if you flatten them out, they take up half a tennis court, adult lungs. So large surface area and very rapidly absorbs gases and small particles. So fantastic delivery mechanism, potentially, depending on what compounds you use.
Yeah, I have asthma. So for me, this is, an eye opener, and what you said about, being the first to focus on the lungs, I think that is very unique, that you're seeing this as, this is the intake for your body. And there's currently a threat. You've had some good testimonials. I want you to give us a case study. Is there any story that you guys can highlight for us that you think has been a good indicator of how this is working out in the market?
Actually, just yesterday, we had an email arrive in our inbox from a man named Quinton up in Nelspruit. He was a manager of a company up there, and he started incorporating the product into their workplace environment and noticed immediately a drop in absenteeism due to illness. And, so we're hoping to collect more quantified data on that sort of thing to demonstrate that indeed it is effective. I mean, that's the main thing, is that, I said again, like we're science driven and we're functionality first kind of business. So that's what we're after. If we can demonstrate these kinds of benefits, then I think we're on track.
So you guys are still quite an early stage for-profit business, and it seems that you have all the right foundations in place. But where to from here? What's next for Cirrus?
The idea of bringing it into the world, we had to test the market. We did like a very small initial run and a little mini launch. And from that, we iterated a couple times on like branding and packaging and the way that we communicate and what we said and what people we felt that they responded to. Now that we know we have that, we feel really confident with it, where we sit. And now we're in the next phase, which is, scaling that.
Retail needs numbers. So I think that end of the day, you guys are retailing a product and a product solution, which needs some good backing, I guess. Is fundraising on the horizon at all?
It's definitely on the cards. I think that's going to be an enabler for us for phase 2 and the growth that we're looking for.
And what would you guys look for as an ideal investment partner? What would you like them to contribute to your business other than finance?
Someone who's had experience in the retail sector, for sure. Knows about distribution and scaling that sort of operation.
A funder, but also maybe a mentor is always a nice, someone you can, because it's just the two of us right now. So it's very like it exists here, and sometimes it's nice to open it up to the world a bit and get the responses.
And someone, I think, you can leave us to our own. There's something about having agency and freedom to explore, especially in an early stage startup, which I think is important. You're opening up new avenues and new spaces.
Yeah,
you've got to kind of stay creative.
Yeah,
I guess making an impact in the world through our business and the idea of profit for purpose, I think is exciting a lot of people around the world currently, and that for us relates quite closely to sustainability and us being able to continue, making profit into the future. But what does sustainability mean to you guys?
It's a rich word, I think. I think just to take a broad view on that word, I think it's ultimately about the continuation of human civilization, and that that cannot be at the expense of the earth. We need to transition from self-terminating systems to ones that can perpetuate indefinitely and that are regenerative. So I think that's at the core of sustainability, is how do we make that transition. Yeah, it's about raising quality of life and not at the expense of the ecological systems that underlie everything, including our economy. And that's where Cirrus fits in, it's in the health space. So we're trying to also provide maybe a slight perspective shift on what it means to be human. We're in relation to the world, and that includes acknowledging the microbial ecosystems that underlie us and give rise to us and are part of our bodies.
And I think also we, like at Cirrus, we're learning from plants for these solutions. They're already a self-sustaining world out there, so why not learn from them, and why not learn how to bring it sustainably into our environments and into these urban spaces?
Yeah, recognizing the body as an intelligent system and finding ways to support that is a key question of health from a holistic perspective.
It's not about just surviving, it's about thriving and considering the planet while we're doing it. That's amazing. Well done, guys. I really look forward to seeing you guys grow and succeed and where you're going to take this next. And we're happy to be on your radar and being able to assist you in our ecosystem. And hope that, all the success to you guys.
Sure. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It's been fun and great to connect with you guys. Awesome what you guys are doing.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Chat soon.
To join the sustainability startup movement and to connect with founders, investors, and other activists, head over to positiveearth.com and sign up to the latest news on how sustainable startups are changing the world.